America is a gangster, brother.
Right.
I mean, a real one. They feel like money is their God. They'll say God with their mouth, but they'll show God with their money. God meaning G-O-D, gold, oil, and drugs. Okay? That's their God. So when America tries to say this person, that person is a dictator, that person is a dictator, the first question you need to ask is, what is it that country has that America needs? That's the first question you need to ask yourself. America is the biggest oil junkie in the world.
Okay.
America owes so many countries money. It's insane. It's really insane. So whenever she's talking about other countries and saying these are terrorists, see, you go to another nation that didn't invite you.
Right.
You try to have negotiations and tell them, listen, give us your oil, diamonds, etc. We'll have some negotiations. And they say, well, no, we don't want you to have that. You go to another one. And America says, oh, okay, cool. So America leaves, and what do? They send in agents through the CIA. They assassinate the leadership after they use the media in that country to turn the people against the leader of that country. Then it's called a coup. They assassinate the leader, and they prop up someone who was a CIA agent who they had trained to be the new person to run for the leadership of that country, put him in place, and then they have free access to the wealth that they already were trying to get in the first place. This is called a coup. America's been doing it for a very long time. They have murdered and assassinated leaders all across the planet. America is a gangster, brother. I mean, a real one. They feel like money is their God. They'll say God with their mouth, but they'll show God with their money.
Cuba's at the end of the line. They're very much at the end of the line. They have no money. They have no oil. They have a bad philosophy. They have a bad regime that's been bad for a long time. And your next one is going to be, we want to do that special Cuba. He's waiting, but he says, let's get this one finished first. We could do them all at the same time, but bad things happen. If you watch countries over the years, you do them all too fast, bad things happen. We're not going to let anything bad happen to this country.
Todo se dificulta. Nos sentimos cada vez un poquito más mal, entonces esperamos que en algún momento mejore, porque es muy difícil la vida así. Se nos hace imposible.
Esta es la tercera vez que pasa y desde la primera vez esto fue una experiencia. Nos preparamos, yo compré lamparitas recargables, tengo una nevera, pongo a hacer hielo, tengo agua hervida y así. Es como si viniera un ciclón, prepararse.
Real reason the United States is bombing Ecuador isn't because of narco-terrorism, it's actually because of this. Ecuador recently moved to ban oil drilling across more than 700,000 hectares of rainforest, a massive protected area, one of the biggest environmental protection in the region. It's indigenous land, it's Amazon territory, and a major source of untapped oil. Right after that decision, a new military narrative appears. On March 3rd, Ecuadorian and US military forces launched operations against what officials call designated terrorist organizations. US Southern Command says that the mission is meant to combat narco-terrorism across Latin America and the Caribbean. They say it's a decisive action against criminal groups responsible for violence, corruption, and instability across the hemisphere. Historically, when a country blocks oil development, pressure tends to follow. Economic pressure, political pressure, and sometimes, and in most cases, military pressure. Ecuador protects hundreds of thousands of hectares of rainforest from drilling. And suddenly, the narrative shifts to security operations and counterterrorism.
Spain has been terrible. In fact, I told Scott to cut off all dealings with Spain. Spain, first of all, it started when every European nation, at my request, paid 5%, which they should be doing. And everybody was enthusiastic about it, Germany, everybody. And Spain didn't do it. And now Spain actually said that we can't use their bases, and that's all right. We could use their base if we want. We could just fly in and use it. Nobody's going to tell us not to use it, but we don't have to. But they were unfriendly, and so I told him we don't want to. Spain has absolutely nothing that we need other than great people. They have great people, but they don't have great leadership. And as you know, they were the only country that in NATO would not agree to go up to 5%. I don't think they agreed to go up to anything. They wanted to keep it at 2%, and they don't pay the 2%. So we're going to cut off all trade with Spain. We don't want anything to do with Spain.
In Africa, and it is, it could be the most corrupt nation in the world, Minister Farrakhan.
Oh, now, Mr. Wallace.
It is the most corrupt nation that I have ever covered. I've been there 25 years ago, and I've been there as recently as last year.
Fine. So what? 35 years old. That's what that nation is. Now, here's America, 226 years old. You love democracy, but there in Africa, you're trying to force these people into a system of government that you just have accepted. 30 years ago, black folk got the right to vote. You're not in any moral position to tell anybody how corrupt they are. You should be quiet and let those of us who know our people go there and help them get out of that condition. But America should keep her mouth shut wherever there's a corrupt regime, as much hell as America has raised on the earth. No, I will not allow America or you, Mr. Wallace, to condemn them as the most corrupt nation on earth when you have spilled the blood of human beings. Has Nigeria dropped an atomic bomb and killed people in Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Have they killed off millions of Native Americans? How dare you put yourself in that position as a moral judge? I think you should keep quiet, because with that much blood on America's hands, you have no right to speak.
We hear, Imam, that today, perhaps today, some black hostages and some female hostages will be released from the American embassy compound. Is that true?
The freedom of the women and blacks will be given. Women are given great dignity in Islam, and the blacks have been oppressed in the United States. Great injustice was done unto them. They were under pressure in the United States. Thus they came here. We are doing this owing to the tenets of Islam. In return, we ask nothing for their freedom. We want the Shah. Carter must return him. The world's international law agree with this principle.
I ask you, as an American and a human being, talking to an Iranian and another human being, is there no room for compromise? Or is Iran now in effect at war with the United States?
حضرت امام آیا جناب عالی یا به طور کلی ایران در حال حاضر با امریکا در حال جنگ هستیم؟
What do you mean by war? If you mean our armies against the United States armies, no, there is no such war. If you mean it is a battle of nerves, it is Carter's doing. We are against war. We are Muslims. We desire peace for all. Carter does not allow this. Carter should put aside his so-called humanism and return the criminal Shah so that we can conclude this matter.
The world's terrorists are the United States. Look what we did to Iraq. Look what we did to Libya. Libya, the most successful country in all of Africa. The guy created the 8th wonder of the world with the way how he delivered water and turned deserts into farmland. And everybody had a house and everybody had education and healthcare. And we turned it into a failed state run by terrorists with open slave markets. Who did that? Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton did that. And they'll never have to pay a price for that. Barack Obama, the most they'll do is go, that was a mistake.
Why did they get rid of Gaddafi?
Because he was going to start a currency of Africa just for that was going to compete with the U.S. dollar and the euro, and they can't have that because the way the United States controls the world is because the United States dollar is the reserve currency of the world. So that's why they can put sanctions on all these countries. And so what they're doing, which they shouldn't do, they're weaponizing the U.S. dollar. And so like when countries want to trade with each other, they have to go take their currency, change it into U.S. dollars so they can trade. And a lot of it was based on the petrodollar, which, by the way, Saudi Arabia just quit. They didn't renew it. I don't know if you heard about that.
Yeah, I did hear about that.
So, and all of a sudden, CBS News is starting to do news stories about how Saudi Arabia was involved in 9/11. All of a sudden, 24 years later, all of a sudden, oh, you know what? Turns out there was something happening with it.
You ever notice how America's always in somebody's business? We can't go 5 minutes without sticking our nose in another country's affairs, dropping bombs, funding coups, or sending troops, all while people right here at home are struggling to survive. And the craziest part? We keep falling for the same excuse every single time. Let's be real, America doesn't fight for freedom. It fights for money. War is a business. And the US government? Well, they're the world's biggest arms dealer. Think about it. How do we always have trillions for war, but not enough for healthcare, housing, or education? How come when we ask for student loan relief, they tell us to work harder, but when war breaks out, they suddenly find billions overnight? It's because war isn't a last resort. It's a paycheck for the defense industry, the private security firms, and the politicians who get fat campaign checks from weapons manufacturers. They don't care who dies, as long as the money keeps rolling in. You ever know how the US only spreads democracy in countries with oil, lithium, or strategic military importance? But when it comes to actual oppressive regimes, we look the other way. Let's not forget, the US has funded, trained, and armed some of the worst dictators in history. Saddam Hussein, we backed him in the 80s. The Taliban, they were literally trained by the CIA. America's government creates the enemies, and then it later pretends to fight them. Every time a conflict spirals out of control, America acts shocked, like it wasn't in the background pulling the strings the entire time. Remember Libya? We bombed that country to hell, helped overthrow Gaddafi, then dipped. And now they have open-air slave markets. But do you see the US stepping in to fix it? Nope. Or how about Afghanistan? 20 years, trillions spent, thousands dead. Just for the US to pull out and let the Taliban take back control in weeks. 20 years. For what? For the defense contractors to get rich off of blood money, while soldiers come home with PTSD and broken promises. That's what war means to America. Profits over people. And the worst part? We're playing world police while our own country is crumbling. Roads are falling apart. People are skipping meals just to afford rent. Schools don't even have enough books. But somehow we got billions to fund another war? People in Flint, Michigan still don't have clean water. Homelessness is skyrocketing. Mass unalivings are just part of the background noise now. They don't even report on all of them anymore. But instead of fixing these problems, our government is out here arming another foreign country for a war that we shouldn't even be in. America can't stay in its lane. As long as war keeps making rich people richer, we're gonna always be in somebody else's business. But the real question is, how long are we gonna let them keep telling us the same lies? How many lives have to be lost before we say enough?